So we're live now.
All right, we're live on YouTube now, man.
All right, good. So how are you?
Okay. Yeah, good, man. Very good. Nice seeing you, and I'm very happy to have you on the show this afternoon.
Th- Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Uh,
very much.
all right, we'll start right away.
All right.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Corner Chat with Babalogy. And it's always an interesting time on the show, a time where we get to discuss with industry experts on varying issues ranging from business to career to relationship and so many more. A time where we get to learn from their life experiences, the challenges they have been through, and how they've been able to come up to where they are today, overcoming those challenges. I have no doubt in my mind that you are going to be motivated, you are going to be inspired, and you are definitely going to be educated on the show this very evening. Permit me, this very evening. With me on the show today is a brother from another mother, a businessman doing so well for himself, even away from his own motherland. With me today is the director, Blue Whales Integrated Services, all the way from Southern Africa. Join me as I welcome to the show Mr. Joshua Acho. Mr. Josh, man, I'm happy to see you, man.
Same here. I'm not sure the last time we had this conversation physically. It's been years. I can't even remember. Thanks
Yeah,
for having me on the show, by the way. Thank
it's
you.
been, man. It's been.
Yes. Thank you so much.
I'm so much excited. I'm so much
Thank you very
excited,
much.
man. I'm excited.
Mm. Thank you so much.
Wow, I'm glad. I'm happy you're doing well. I'm happy. I'm happy.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
yes, I will go straight. I want to plead with you for something as a bonus.
All right.
Okay. Now you went South Africa. Now we may have guys that may want to. So you may give us a tip or two if they want to. At the end, though. At the end.
All right.
Are we?
All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. That will be at the end, though. At the end.
Okay. Okay. No
All right.
problem.
Now we are thank you. We are discussing proven secrets on how to grow your business across borders. Proven ideas, smart ideas on how to grow your business across borders, whether in your country or in another country, is what we are discussing this very evening. So before we begin to delve into the questions, let's start from the basics. From your own perspective, Mr. Josh, what is a business and what does it mean for one to own a business?
If you ask me, I would like to define business in layman terms.
Okay, okay,
I think I would go by the simple definition we were given to in high school. It's the process of buying and selling actually.
okay.
Before that, we used to have trade by barter. I give you this, you give
Mm-hmm.
me that. But when legal tender
Yeah.
came in, the act of exchanging money. So you
Mm-hmm.
give me money, I give you the commodity or the services you need. So, in a nutshell, business is just the process of exchanging goods and services for money.
Mm. And owning a business.
Owning a business, I would say, is one of it's something everybody should try at least once in their lifetime because
Mm-hmm.
it actually tries to mature you. It tries to help
Mm-hmm.
you discover the thing you think you don't have, your resilience. If you're not resilient enough, it can break you. If you're not resilient
Mm,
enough, it can mar you. In fact, it
mm.
can get you depressed if you're not resilient enough. So
Well,
owning a business, owning a
we'll
business
come to
is a
that.
very nice adventure for everybody, I would say. Venture into it, even if it fails, you know you've tried something.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Mm.
I'll come to that. Now, you own a business, not in your
Yeah.
country, in another country. I
Yeah.
want to. How did that journey? How did that journey started? How did that journey started? I want to hear that story.
It's a pretty long story, but I think I'm gonna give you. I'll tell you the whole story
Okay.
and how it all came to be. I actually left
Okay.
Nigeria in January 11th,
Okay.
2017.
Mm.
Back in Nigeria, I had studied computer science and information
I know
technology,
that. I
and
know
then
that.
I came in here. I did some majors in cybersecurity, and then I began
Okay.
practicing a little. But the aspect of my course where I majored cybersecurity is one area where you don't just go in there wholly because of the dangers involved in that field. Are you with me now?
Okay.
So
Very
it's
well.
something you practice on a low key. So when I got in here, I discovered the ease of doing business was quite okay because um, company registration was fine. Got the
Okay.
company registered. It was a seamless exercise. Then we started
You don't know.
practicing. Yes. We practiced for a while, and then remember I told you it's a dangerous aspect of computer science because it had to do with forensic audits, systems audit for banks, for private institutions, and all of that. So you get threats to life here and there and there and here. And then I decided to go low key and then
Okay.
practiced low key for the duration of 2017, 2018, and the larger part of 2019. But I've never been the kind of person who wanted to just sit in an office and wait for write proposals and do all of that. So I was not. Uh, I wanted more. I would say I wanted
Mm-hmm.
more. With all
Yes.
the experience I'd had, I wanted more. And then uh, towards the end of 2019, I had started to think, what will I do again? How would I begin again? And then uh, I'm a very religious person. I'm a Christian. You know that. You know my background very
Mm-hmm.
well.
Good.
So
Good. I do.
we prayed. I prayed about yeah. I prayed about it very well, and then uh, started thinking and started planning. So early 2020, COVID came in. Remember,
Yes.
there was
Yeah. March.
there was a worldwide lockdown. So that helped me focus more. That helped me plan more, and I started making the contact on how to what I should do because uh, everybody was affected. Those of us who had to depend on government systems to audit, bank systems to audit, all of us were affected. The
Yes.
banks were not working at the time, government were not working at the time, and so it left us broke. you know,
That's true.
so
That's true.
we we, ba- we basically survived on what's it called now? Investment you've saved before and all of that. So as soon as the restrictions for COVID were lifted a little bit, we started all my plans that I started planning for 2019. I wanted to go into buying and selling. That was what I knew. My parents, my mom especially, had taught me. I used
Mm.
to man her business back in Nigeria. She had this big plastic business. So
Yes.
I would say I was the CEO or the director, whichever you choose to call it then. So I
Mm.
think I
Mm.
had an idea of how to run it. So I made all the connections and all of that, and then we started in June 2020 as soon as restrictions were lifted. So we began into. I delved straight headedly into automobiles, auto parts
Mm.
also,
Yes.
and uh, believe me, it's not been an easy ride, especially because this was not something I had done before. This was not
Yes, I can
something I
understand
didn't
that.
even do an apprenticeship on this before. It was just
Mm.
something I just delved into. Like, if I die, I die here.
Mm. And
But
that's the
well,
winning spirit. You didn't die
exactly,
though.
so no, 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 no. Resilience, yes. Disappointments here and there,
Yes.
heartbreaks here and there. Sometimes you see yourself as a failure because it's a new business and it's not, your
Yes.
projections are not coming to pass, and
As expected.
uh, ev- everything just seems to not be what it should be.
Mm.
So, well, 2020, we did it ruggedly. Let me put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a rugged
Mm-hmm.
movement.
Mm.
You know, we pushed and pushed. It was as if there was no results. 2021, we continued. We pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and towards the end of 2021, we started seeing the fruits of the
Mm.
gari we drank, the
Yeah.
slice of bread we ate.
Exactly.
And here we are today. Approximately, I would say we're doing good for ourselves now. We're fine.
Mm.
And also
Mm.
doing this business not in your own motherland, not in your own country where you can tell yourself, look, if it fails, I'll pack up and go to my parents' house. Here, you
Yes.
don't have a parent, you don't have anybody you can pack up to. If it
Mm-hmm.
fails, you're on your own. It's either you're deported back to your country, and
Wow.
for a reason, that is an extra motivation for you to work hard so that you don't have to
Mm.
beg
Yes.
anyone. That's an extra motivation for you to put in all your best, even if it means you going to bed late at night, waking up very early to continue again. So,
Man.
yeah, I've always had
That.
a principle which is the fear of failure. I hate it.
Mm.
I don't want to fail. So, whatever it takes for me to
Mm.
get success, as long as it's a legal route, I will do
Mm.
it diligently. Yeah. And so I would say, here
Man.
we are, and this is us. We're fine
That's
now.
quite a that's quite a story, man. That's quite a
Mm,
story, especially when you are not in your own country.
exactly.
Man, this is Corner Chat with Babalogy, and I'm privileged to have the director of Blue Whales Integrated Services Pty Limited on the show this very evening. Please, if you're new to this channel, kindly click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you will be notified whenever we post amazing videos. All right, Mr. Josh, I want to ask, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go on.
All right. Okay. Registering a business over there, what is the process like? Unlike what we have here. What's the process
Mm.
like? And do you necessarily need to have a physical business address like we have in our motherland? How is it over there across the borders?
The ease of registration for businesses here, I would say it's seamless. When I came
Really?
in, yes, when I came in 2017, I registered my first company in September 2017. You don't necessarily need a business address. If you have a residential address, you can
Mm.
easily register your business. The only time you might, in quotes, need uh, a business address is when you need your trader's license, because you always need a license to function properly as a business. So for that, you might just get a small office space and do that. But that was then. A lot of things, a lot of laws has changed. Those establishments have revolutionized with time, and yes, there's a few changes, but registering a business, even your physical presence, if you want to make it an offshore business, it's not needed. You just need somebody here who can file the papers for you, who can submit those papers for you, and then you are good. Other than
That's
that,
simple.
that's simple, yeah. Time
Wow.
duration for registration of business, from business registration to tax clearance to trader's license, or sorry, business registration to trader's license to tax clearance. I would say a minimum of 6 weeks, all things being equal.
Mm, six
Mm,
weeks.
yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool. All right.
Mm.
When we say business growth, because we are talking about factors that drives business growth. From your perspective, before we start talking about factors or
Come again?
network, can you,
I lost
okay,
you.
all right,
I
can you hear
lost
me
you. Yeah,
now?
I can hear you now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I said, from your perspective, what would you call a business growth? Before we start talking about factors that necessitate or that are responsible for growing one's business across borders, what would you call a business growth before we start looking at the factors that can spur it?
First of all, uh, I'm going to say two things, and I hope
Okay.
the listening audience can agree with me.
Okay.
When you talk about business growth, it doesn't grow in 2 years. You
Mm,
can you can you can actually uh, say a business has grown after 10 years.
mm,
The reason for that is after 10 years, you can know if that business is stable or not. Because within the period of the first year, second year to the fifth year, maybe to the eighth year, and then to the 10th year, there are going to be turbulence, believe you me. There are going to be
definitely.
times you just want to pack up and say like, dude, this business is not what it is, or it's not what I envisaged. So you need you need that period. People, young entrepreneurs need to give themselves that long time to allow the business grow. And then when you finally classify a business to have grown, and when you say there's growth in this business, is when you can leave that business for, let's say, a period of 6 months or 8 months, and you are not physically present, but the business is doing fine. You get the point.
Mm,
Then
yes.
in my own books, I can calculate or classify that as growth. But if you have to be there every now and then the business is still hobbling. Allow me
Mm.
use that. You get
Very
so
well. I get that straight.
that's that's my simple definition when you come or when you ask for
So
business growth.
business growth.
Mm.
Okay. I want to ask this. What are some of the factors that drives growth in a business, especially across borders? Some of the factors that drives business growth, especially across borders.
Uh, I have one, two, three as factors, but they are still one thing. Okay,
Okay.
number one is resilience. Number two is
Resilience.
resilience. Number three is
Resilience.
resilience.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yes, if you're not resilient, most especially when you are uh, across borders, across the shores of your country. And
Yes.
I'll say this to you for free. I'm not sure anybody has told you this on your show, but
Mm-hmm.
when you hold the green passport from Nigeria, you are usually an endangered species. So
Species.
you
Damn.
have to work times two, if not times
Hmm.
three, as others.
Wow. That's bad.
So this is where uh, the resilience come in.
Mm.
uh, I would say because outside the shores of Nigeria, many people see Nigerians because of our population anyway, you know,
Mm.
and they see us as sorry to use the word fraudsters because a handful of
Yeah.
Nigerians have done a couple of things that were not right by the law of the countries they were residing in. So uh,
Yes.
you become an endangered species for no just reason. Before you even open a door, it's closed already.
Mm.
you know.
Damn.
So
Damn.
basically, you just have to be resilient. Whenever you're hit with such situation, you have to push back also and fight back also. So some of
Mm,
those factors, the number one factor you need as an individual is resilience. And two,
not letting go.
uh, yes, not letting go. Secondly, or let me put it at number four because I said my number one to number three is resilience. My number four would be, I know many people would not agree with me, but you need to have a technical know-how on how to run a business.
Mm,
The technical know-how and comprises entrepreneurship mindset. You
yeah.
know, entrepreneurship mindset is a mindset that uh, you pay others before you pay yourself. At the end of the
Mm,
month, you pay your staff, you pay rent. I mean, you see your books for the month. You see you're doing, for instance, $1,000, for instance, in the month. By the time you pay everything and you're left with maybe $200, you don't even have you can't pay yourself because you use that like as a shock absorber to say, should in
mm,
case anything goes wrong, I have something to fall back. So you
yes.
see, just so that the business can grow, you're committing other funds to it. Side gigs that come in, you commit it into the business. Everything that comes in, you
Mm,
commit it into the business. And then you keep pushing like that. You keep pushing like that. So you need that entrepreneurship mindset to say, like we say in Pidgin in Nigeria, one day it go better. You get
one
the point.
day.
hmm So
I'm glad you're not lost in on that
that
now.
so one day it will actually get better anyway. But if you don't have that mindset, if you don't have that resilience spirit, if you don't have that growth spirit also, growth. You
Mm,
see, so many
mm,
people just get into business to say, hey, let me just do it to while away time. If you're going to get into business just to while away time, then you might as well sell ice cream, you know,
mm,
because that will help
mm,
you while a lot of time away. But if you
mm.
put in your mind to say, okay, I started with $200 today or this month.
Okay.
In the next 6 months, I should have tripled it to $600. In the
Mm-hmm.
next 12 months, it should have gone to $1,200. And
Yeah.
you give yourself a geometrical progression like that. And
Mm, mm,
sometimes you might hit the brakes, but then
mm.
you have to stand up and walk again and start all
Man.
over again. Do not
Mm,
have the mind of giving up, the never
yeah.
give up attitude. And for
Mm,
me, last but not the least, whatever you worship, hold on to that thing very well and pray to that
mm.
thing very well.
Very
If
well.
it's God, if you believe in God, pray to God for the success. If you believe whatever you believe in, you
Pray to
cannot,
that thing.
uh, you cannot, especially for a growing business, you cannot separate divinity from the
Mm,
business. So
mm.
whatever you believe
I
in,
get that straight.
as long as it's legal, do it.
Mm, mm. All right, Mr. Josh. Yes. Now let's come to the areas of challenges. Now, what
Mm.
are some of the challenges to anticipate in operating a business, and how can one tackle them? Now, I want you to speak both personally and generally, like what you have
Okay.
encountered and how you overcame them, and speaking generally too, and how our listeners can overcome these challenges.
Thank you. The first thing I encountered was, I'm speaking on personal basis now.
Personal, yeah, yeah.
Uh, the first thing I encountered was rejection, to be frank with you.
Wow, wow.
Uh, maybe I really didn't do business on my own in Nigeria, but
Mm,
rejection when I came in here, maybe because I was a foreigner at the time.
yes.
Uh, yeah. But rejection, I think it cuts across all boards, whether in Nigeria or in whichever country
Oh,
any
very
organization
true,
has
very
finds
true.
themselves.
Yes, you're right.
Rejection, because you find people, you're trying to sell an idea to them, and
Mm-hmm.
they bluff you back like, oh, hold it there, we've had enough of this
Mm,
before. But you're trying to prefer a solution that actually works for them, and they are not buying it. So
mm,
rejection is one. Then another one is, especially if you have to go into a big uh, big business. Like,
Investments. Okay.
yeah, like something like the ones we do here. I don't say
Yeah.
it's big here, but yeah, it's still big anyway.
Yeah.
Uh, Funds. And
mm,
one of the things affecting African youths, I would say, is accessibility to funds, lack of
mm.
accessibility to funds.
To
Most
funds.
people have big idea, have good business plan, have good financial statement or good financial projections, but they do not
Yes.
have funds to fund that idea. And then
Mm.
looking out for investors who are going to invest. Sometimes those investors
Yeah.
are sharks. You know,
Mm.
they tell you, okay, we are going to invest in this business for a controlling share, and that is not what you want as a beginner. Imagine somebody saying, no, I'm
Exactly.
going to invest XYZ amount of money in this business for 80% share of the business. How are you going to grow?
What?
How?
What?
How?
That
Just how?
high?
Exactly. So, uh, these are some of the common mitigating factors that is it mitigating factor or condescending factors that new
Yes.
startup owners face that
Mm.
kind of discourage them from doing what they want to do and then focusing on something else. Especially if you're not from a very rich family or you don't have family and friends who you can
Okay.
fall back
Yes.
to raise
So.
funds on
Mm.
equity basis or to
Yeah.
raise funds on sweat purposes.
Mm.
It's very difficult to do that, to be on your feet. For some of us, it took us a while. It took us years to raise
Mm.
those funds. We started doing the business
Funds.
personally, and trust
Man.
me, that road is not fun. It's not
At
fun
all.
at all. At all,
Mm.
it's not fun. But with diligence and uh, great work,
Yes.
you might not start up with what you think you want to start, but then start anyway. Start from where
Mm.
you are, push
Mm.
from where you are,
Mm.
and as you go, as long as you have a growth mindset in you, you will discover that definitely it will pick up. And
Mm.
one of the advice I see or I would give again is even when you start up and it feels like it's not working, please, there's an adage that says when you're in a hole, stop digging. If you discover that it's not working, if you can close it down, close it so that you don't accumulate so much problems for yourself.
For
You can always
yourself.
start up all over again. Okay. So if things are not working out in the new business and you think you're not resilient enough to push it, I mean, shut it down.
Wow.
So some of the issues, just to recap, some of the issues that people face, number one, lack of funds, accessibility to funds. Number two, rejection. You know,
Yes.
so if in fact if we can have if young people can have fund accessibility to funds, I don't think
Yes.
rejection will be an issue,
Mm.
because you now have money to start up by yourself. You now have money to fund your ideas. You now have money to
Yes.
run those ideas. You get. So,
Yes.
and because
Now,
of
now
the
the,
because of
the
the situation we are, okay, go on,
the
go
issue
on.
of the issue of raising funds. Now,
Mm.
in especially when you're not in your country, is it peculiar to everyone, both the citizens of that country, or just you, the foreigner?
Uh, for the country where I am, at the time I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a citizen, so citizens have social security nets which they can always fall back to. They have
Mm.
social services which they can always use. You know, they have access to. There's this fund the government keeps for them. As long as your idea is acceptable by the banks, it can be funded. You
Yeah.
know, so
Okay.
you and I know where we come from. You don't always get that
Sure.
privilege. So it's
Straight.
uh
It's
it's
pretty
straight
difficult.
up on your own. Exactly.
Mm. Mm. All right, all right. There was something you were explaining, but I think I will bring up the question from there now. Now,
Okay.
in running a business,
Mm.
and the going gets tough. Like input is no longer coming, equalizing output. In that situation, what should a young entrepreneur do?
Uh, in that situation, first off, I would say as a young entrepreneur, because you use the word young entrepreneur, that is what is making me
Yes.
say what I want to say now.
Mm-hmm.
Fail as many times as possible as you can.
Wow. Fail as many times as possible.
As you can. The
Mm-hmm.
reasons for this is in the process of failing, there are always lessons to learn. In the
Mm.
process of
Mm.
those failure, there's always something very, very important for you to pick up. Okay.
Mm.
So
Mm.
fail as many times as you can, learn the lessons along the way, and then when you finally pick up, those lessons will be very, very valuable. You would
Mm.
see
In
why
going
you had to
forward.
fail. You would see
Wow.
why your initial businesses had to fail, or you see why your initial ideas had to fail because this one had to work. Okay, so as young entrepreneurs, when the going gets tough, my brother, if you can cry, cry.
Wow.
but clean your tears. Don't
And don't
have the
give
give
up.
up attitude. Don't have
Mm.
the give up attitude. Don't give up easily. Although
Mm.
there are so like I said it before, there are some situations where you just have to give up. But do
Mm.
not have that give up attitude easily.
Mm.
Try again and again
Mm.
and again
And
and
again
again
and again.
and
Man,
again
I love
and
I
again.
love that.
You get.
Again and again.
So when it's time to give up, you would know. When
Mm.
you've given all your best, and it seems sometimes that idea it's not for that time.
Mm.
Okay, sometimes
Yes.
that idea has passed its ideation stage.
Mm.
Okay, it's just like somebody coming to do to say I'm inventing another Facebook. It won't work at this time because that idea has passed. We already have one everybody is using. You get the
Mm-hmm.
point
That's
now.
right.
So
Yes.
if you try that, no matter how much you pump into that, it might not come. So know what the idea is, do the feasibility study about it, do the market survey about it, and then push your idea. If it's not working, try something else.
Wow. Now I love that. All right, let's look at this question.
Mm.
Now, you as a businessman, what are some of the business principles you have imbibed over time
Mm.
and still practice that has brought you to where you are today? And our listeners will want to learn from you on that.
First and foremost, sacrifice. You are
Sacrifice.
never, you are never, ever, ever, ever gonna go far without sacrifice. I
Mm.
think uh, the English word for that is delayed gratification.
Mm.
You know, when we started this business newly, a couple of, I had a couple of friends. They were living good. I mean, driving cars and not like the money for buying a car wasn't there at the time. But priorities.
Yes.
You don't want to put so much burden on a particular business and then the business crumble.
Mm.
I think in maths, I've forgotten which grade now. We were all taught improper fraction, where you have something like 20 over 5 or 20 over
Yes.
3.
Yes.
The load on top is heavy. So when your
Mm-hmm.
utility, your bills are more than what the business generates, automatically that business will go crumbling. Believe me.
Mm.
So
That's true.
one of the things that has uh, kept me this far is sacrifice. I mean,
Mm.
you don't just jump as a business owner. You don't just jump on every trend you see because somebody is using an iPhone 14 and they say, that guy he owns that business. That business is making money, but he's using a Nokia C300. As long as you that is whatever you're using can allow you make calls, sacrifice and use it. There will come a
Mm,
time when you'll be able to afford all of that, the necessities of life. You'll be able to
mm,
afford all of it, but you won't. It won't freak you anymore. Okay,
mm.
just take for instance your Dangotes, your Ote dollars, in Nigeria. They can buy 6 jets at once and they won't feel the pinch.
Exactly.
They've they've paid the price, sorry. They've paid the price, they've sacrificed. There's so many things they let go. Instant
Mm,
gratification that they should have done. They've paid late nights also to work on
mm.
something, to ideate,
Yes.
to keep an idea running in their mind. So sacrifice. I don't think there's anything I can even tell you again. Sacrifice.
Mm,
Sacrifice. And as you go along the way of the particular business line that you are, do not be stuck with old ideas.
mm.
Try to innovate along that line of business. All right, try to innovate. Try to What is the latest technology for this line of business I'm in? How do I make my
Yes.
customers happy? How do they feel satisfied? What am I
Mm.
doing that I can use to beat my competition? What are my
Yes.
competitors doing that I can be one up better than them? you
Than
know
them.
so these are the principles. You need you need to keep discovering. That's what I was
Into
looking for. You need to keep discovering and
dynamism.
rediscovering yourself. Exactly.
Mm,
You need to stay one feet above your competitions. Stay
mm,
1 feet above your competitors also. So
mm.
do not be stuck with old ideas. Yes, old ideas might work for you. Old ideas might bring a certain amount of success rate, but with the fourth industrialized revolution that we all are around the world now, uh, you just have to be ahead of the curve. You get the point? You have to
Very
step
well.
up as you're making sacrifices. You're revolutionizing that field of the business where you are. You're trying to
Mm-hmm.
work out new practical steps for
Mm.
genuine sustenance of the business.
Of the
Otherwise,
business.
you're going to crumble. I used to have a
Ah,
relative. Sorry, let me just tell you this quick story. I used to have
yeah,
a
cool.
relative. He was into the old version repairs of what's it called, motorbikes.
Okay.
So when this new version of motorbikes came, he refused to upgrade. Today he is out of
Hmm.
job.
Hmm.
Upgrade. If you
Is
have to
yeah.
if you have to take if you have to take short courses to understand what you're doing, do it. I mean,
Hmm.
there are so many of them on YouTube where you can learn.
Sure.
The world best university. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
Mr. Josh, thank you very much.
Mm, you're
Now it
welcome.
is still corner chat with Babalogy, and we've been with Mr. Joshua, the director, Blue Whales Integrated Services Southern Africa. And it's been an interesting time on the show with Mr. Josh today. I want to tell you,
Thank
whatever
you.
you're doing, always delay your gratification. You must be ready to sacrifice. You must be ready to upgrade, and you must be able to be one step ahead your competitors. I'm just saying what Mr. Josh has taught us on the show this very evening. If you are new to the
Exactly.
channel, kindly click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we post other amazing videos. All right, back to Mr. Josh. Mr. Josh,
Mm,
I want
yeah.
to ask: Had there been a time you felt like giving up? And how did you come out of it? How did you overcome it? Like, man, things are not going the way you want, and you're like, man, I think I need to go back to. I just need to give up. How were you able to overcome it if there had been a time like that?
My brother, as a businessman, and every
Mm.
businessman out there will tell you the same thing. You give up almost
Okay.
every day.
Wow.
You
Wow.
give up. If you do not have an assured way of salary 9 to 5, where you whether you go to work or you leave, you pay salary. If you're a businessman, you give up every day. That's
Wow.
one known fact that has been established, because
Mm.
you're faced with different challenges, different disappointments here and there, either from
Yes.
customers, either from suppliers, either from your staff, either from yourself also, So you give
Mm.
up almost every day. But then, like I said earlier on, you've got to have a persistent spirit.
Mm.
Uh,
Yes.
Sometimes one thing I tell myself, I say it to myself a lot. I say it within my spirit. It was just a bad day, not a bad event.
Mm. Yeah. Just a bad day, not a bad event.
Yes, it was just a
Mm.
bad day, not a bad event. So tomorrow
Mm.
is another day. It should be a good day and a good event.
Mm. Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
So
Amazing.
that propels me a lot, pushes me. And then, like I said before, I'm a very religious person. I pray a
Mm.
lot. You know that. So
Yeah.
when I meet or when I'm stuck like that, I have this acknowledgement that there's a superior being than I am, who is greater
Mm.
than any human. So I just say a
Yes.
little word of prayers in my head, and I move
Mm.
on.
Wow.
In Nigeria, I think there's something the Gen Zs say. They say we move. You know,
You
tomorrow
move.
is always gonna
Is
be,
it?
yeah, exactly. Tomorrow is always gonna be another day. You get
That's
so
it. That's it. That's it.
that this has been my own guiding principle for over the years for a while,
Mm.
and then I think it has helped me a lot. You always have a bad day. You always be tensed as a businessman because you don't want to fail.
Yeah.
You've got a family
Definitely.
to cater for. You've got
Mm.
kids to look after. You've got a wife. You've
Mm.
got you. You don't just want to fail. It's not in
Mm.
the dictionary. Yes. So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
All right. I want. I want to ask. I want to ask. Now, looking back from where you started, what are some of the things you think you would have done differently? Some of the things you would have done differently to give you a faster result.
One of the things, in fact, I still regret it till this moment. It's
Yeah.
lack of proper networking.
Networking.
Yes, humans are one of our greatest assets as humans
Mm.
also. So,
Yes.
lack of proper networking, lack of having reliable network of confidence or colleagues where you
Mm.
could fall back to, and they could also raise you up because you also have also invested in them. So that is one thing. I grew up more like an introvert, not having
Mm.
so much friends,
Friends.
or yeah. So I really didn't have the network of friends to call up to. So I was all on my own, all on my
Mm.
own, and believe you me, it wasn't fun. It was one of the toughest because you have to do things by yourself. You have to find a way all by yourself. There
By
is nobody to
yourself.
share the visions with, and that's a very dangerous spot, I would say, to be in as an entrepreneur. But then my advice to upcoming entrepreneurs is, or even people who are basically into entrepreneurship now, network a lot, get
Mm.
contact a lot. You wouldn't
Mm.
know when you need them. You wouldn't know when
Mm.
they would help you.
Yes.
Also, give out your contact also. A simple, somebody can just call, hey, remember XYZ we met at WHO and what? Yeah. I remember you told me you could do this stuff the other time. Yeah, good. Send me your CV and you good.
Just like that.
So
All right,
network a
all
lot,
right. Oh,
please, please.
mm, mm.
Mm,
On a quick note, Mr. Josh.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
what advice would you give young entrepreneurs? Okay, I'll take them in two phases. One, those who want to go into business, and number two, those who are already into business but are finding it difficult to make a headway. What will be your advice for these two sets of people? They want to go into business, and one is already into business but is finding it difficult to make a headway.
Mm. First off, if you want to go into business, I think the first thing you would have to do first and foremost is sit down
Mm,
and ask yourself, am I into this thing for me or for
mm.
me? These are two different things.
Okay.
Am I
For
into these
me,
things or for me?
okay.
I'm going to explain. The first for me, am I into this thing for myself, for my selfish purpose, interest rather?
Okay, okay.
That is the first for me. Do I want to do this
Yes.
just because of my egoistic value? Because I want to
Mm-hmm.
be proud that so that when I walk along the street, it's, that guy owns a business. Is that why I want to be in it? Or I want to be in it to create that the second for me now to create a
Yes.
legacy.
Mm.
You see the difference?
Yes.
One is for egoistic purpose, the other is for
Mm-hmm.
legacy.
Yeah.
The legacy is what your kids will meet long after you've gone.
Mm.
Your kids, your grandkids will meet them long after you've gone. That's the legacy. But when you're
Yeah.
into a business for egoistic purposes, I give you 2 years max. Stops. That business is out of fashion already. So
Mm.
sit down, count the costs, know why you're into the business, study your field, the field of that business very well. Try to study people who has been there in that
Mm.
business before. That is one way to succeed. Try to
Mm.
study the people. You might not be close to them, but ask relevant question. Use your Google. I
Mm.
mean, ask question. Why did XYZ fail in this business?
Mm.
It will
Mm.
spring out so many questions for you. When you understand, you know the paths to take, you know the paths to avoid. You know how to harmonize both paths also to hash your success rates. And
Mm.
then you ask the second question to say, for those who are in business,
But
and it doesn't
and
seem like it's
yes.
working out.
Yes.
I said again earlier on, network a lot, ask questions, get
Mm.
mentors. Some of
Mm.
the things that affected most of us is we lacked mentors in the area of businesses we went into. If you
Mm.
have a mentor, who is a mentor is someone who has done something before, either failed or succeeded in that thing, but can guide you to tell you this part, do not take it, take this part, do this at a particular time, do not do this, rent this office space here, or rent this workshop here, or rent this factory here, or rent this
Mm.
warehouse here. You get the
Mm.
point. So that's a
Very
mentor,
well.
and somebody you can always is somebody you respect also. It's somebody who you can run onto with ideas and is not going to steal your ideas. That's one thing you should be careful with. Because there are
Mm.
mentors out there who say, look, I'm a mentor, but all they do is wait for you to bring a brilliant or a beautiful idea and then they steal it.
Mm. Mm.
So, for those that are in business, just let me just quick wrap. For
Okay.
those that are in business, when it doesn't seem like it's making a headway, reevaluate again, please.
Mm.
Reevaluate.
Mm.
Sit back
Mm.
again, like sit back, sit away from the business and watch the business from afar and try to ask genuine questions like, what is wrong? Where did I get it wrong? What am I doing wrongly that is not working? What am I supposed to do? Ask yourself a lot of questions, both rhetorical and genuine questions. And I think
Mm.
if you're genuine with yourself and you want the business to go a step higher than it is, you will get genuine answers.
Mm. Amazing. All right, all right. Permit me to tell our
Thank you.
listeners that if you have a question
Mm.
or two for our guest on the show, kindly drop them in the comment section and it will be relayed to our guest, and is going to do justice to them. All right,
All right.
Mr. Josh, I want to ask this.
Yeah.
Now,
Mm.
in choosing a line of business in another country that is not yours, what factors should one consider? Or should you
It's
just
as a
wake up
rule
and
of
say, I'm going, okay.
as a rule of thumb, it's usually said that when you come into an area for the first time, you know what is lacking actually. You
Mm-hmm.
know what you can do.
Mm,
But that doesn't mean you should jump right into it. There's what
mm.
is called testing the waters with the
One foot.
business. Yes, exactly. You don't just put both
At
foot
all.
inside.
At
What
all.
if what if where you're putting your foot is very, very deep, you know? So test the waters. In such situations, especially when you find yourself in a new place, it might not just be a new country, a new state, a new local government. What do you have to do?
Mm.
Do your feasibility study around. Look for what is desirable but is not available
Can you can
within
you
the
come again on
country.
that? Yes, come again.
Yes. I said not just a new country, it might be a new state, it might be a new local government.
Yes,
Do your feasibility
basically.
study.
Yes.
Look for what
Okay.
is desirable but is not available.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. What is desirable but not
And
available?
exactly. Look for what the people
Mm.
want. For instance, uh, when I came in, I discovered when I started cybersecurity initially, like I told you in the opening of this program, when I
Yes.
came in, there was no registered cybersecurity firm in the country at the time,
Hmm.
you know. And then
Hmm.
I was the first person to register a cybersecurity company,
Hmm.
and then before it became fashionable
Hmm.
at that time. In fact, the whole of the country at that time, we didn't have a cybersecurity report. I wrote this for the first time in the country. You can see
Wow.
it.
Cybersecurity in Lesotho.
Yes, this was the first
Hmm.
ever publication made. I'm sure you can see my name there. That was my first company.
Yes. By
You
Dr.
can see, yeah,
Joshua Acho. Yeah, yeah. Director. Yeah, yeah, that's a consult. Cool, cool, man.
yeah,
Yes. And
yeah,
Enterprise Consult. Okay,
yes,
by Joshua Acho. I said that, I said that.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I had, I think I was barely 6 months in here when I wrote this report on the state of
Hmm.
cybersecurity in the country, because I had seen at the time there was no registered firm. If they had to do anything as regards cybersecurity, they had to fly in people from other countries to do that. I'm like, good, I'm here, I can do this shit.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
the rest they say is history. So study the environment, do a proper feasibility or market survey, feasibility study or market survey of the environment you find yourself, and harmonize the truths you get from that market feasibility study you've done. Do
Hmm.
not jump into an aspect or a field of study because you feel everybody is doing it and maybe making cool quid from it. Do not jump into it because you might not be lucky. Okay.
Hmm.
Look, like I said, look for what is desirable but not available.
Hmm.
Uh, Growing up, the community or the city we all grew up, myself and you remember, Ajakuta to be
Mm-hmm.
precise. At the time,
Yes.
every street was producing pure water. I mean, everywhere you turn to was producing pure water because people were buying it. But then, how long were they able to sustain that? The
Yeah.
major players blew everybody out of the market and then retained the market share for themselves. The people who could not
Hmm.
play in that field had to pack up. That's what I'm trying to
Exactly.
say. Do not just jump into a business area because uh, you see everybody doing it. For instance, when we went into automobile here, a couple of persons went into automobile, and I'm like, hey, is it because they see us importing now? Everybody's importing. Then I told myself the truth. Let's see how they can sustain it. They weren't in
Sustain it.
business for 6 months. They were not in business for
Wow.
6 months.
Wow.
They were not in business for 6 months. They've all closed down as I speak to you.
Hmm.
So see a vision, see the long-term
Okay.
prospects of that vision, pursue that
Yes.
long-term prospect of the vision. Do not pursue a short-term vision. It's not visible. It's not feasible,
Hmm.
rather.
Hmm.
Pursue the long-term vision, the long-term prospect of that vision, and try to set goals for yourself along the way. To tell yourself, when you smash this, okay, then what's the next step? When you smash that, what's the next
Yeah.
step? Like
What's the
that,
next time?
like that, like that. Yeah,
All right, Mr. Josh.
yeah,
All right. I want to come up with this before we go into the bonus section. I talked about. I want to ask this
yeah.
question: what are some of the working business strategies you have deployed over time that has helped you achieve the amount of success you have achieved today? Some
Mm,
of the working business strategies that you have deployed over time. I don't want to use the word unstoppable, but I know in a very
mm,
short time you will be unstoppable in the business.
mm. Number one, I would say keep your records. Keep
Keep
your
your records.
records.
Hmm.
Keep your records.
Yeah.
Because when you do business internationally, you're on the fringes of the tax man every day. They're always coming to
Hmm.
ask, dude, have you paid your tax? So keep your
Hmm.
records.
Hmm.
Know when you've hit a milestone. That's what the record help you to do. Know when you've hit a milestone.
A milestone.
Okay. S yes. And like I said earlier on, sacrifice. It pays a lot.
Hmm.
Delayed gratification. It pays a lot.
Hmm.
So when you can combine this principle, stop all this act of I need to flex every Friday. For God's sake, you're a businessman, not an ice cream seller. You're not trying to make anybody happy.
Yeah, very
You're
correct.
you're into business. I
Hmm.
mean, you see a nice pair of pants. Yes, tell yourself it's beautiful, but I cannot afford it now, even if you have the money in your pocket.
Hmm. Hmm.
You you see a nice pair of shoes. It's beautiful, but that's not what I need now. Only get
Hmm.
what you want at that point in time.
Amazing.
You
Amazing,
get
man.
the
Amazing.
point. Do, do
Yes.
not do not be a frivolous spender.
Hmm.
Do not just spend because you want to spend. And one other thing, invest in educating your mindset. Read books on businesses.
Hmm.
I mean, you
Hmm.
can't say you see pastors, what they study is the Bible, commentaries of the Bible and everything. You as a businessman, what you should be studying and chewing every day is read businesses, get more information about businesses, seek for
Businesses.
new path, seek for new pathways, seek for new
Hmm.
pathfinders.
Hmm.
Connect the more, do more networking. And yeah, if you do that, it becomes an habit, and the only thing you think of is how do I grow.
Wow.
That's it.
All right, Mr. Josh.
Mm,
Thank you for being our guest on the show this very evening.
thank you.
I must tell you, it's been an amazing time having you on the show.
Thank you.
And
Thank
it's
you.
been from one lesson to another lesson, from one value to another value you've been adding to lives
Thank
this
you.
very evening. All
Thank you
right.
so much.
You are in South Africa. Before you give us your parting words, before you give us your parting
Mm-hmm.
words, because we're rounding off now, you're in South Africa. You're in South Africa. Now there are people. One, would you advise someone to come to South Africa? That is one. And if yes, for our guests listening now, what would it take for one to come over to South Africa and survive before you begin to
Uh,
succeed?
current, Currently, I'm in Lesotho, not South Africa
Okay.
now. but it's just
Okay.
a stone throw across the border here to South Africa.
Is it a different
Uh,
country?
yeah, they are different countries. Yeah,
Really? Wow.
Kingdom of
Okay.
yeah, Kingdom of Lesotho is different from the Republic of South Africa. Yeah,
Really?
so
Oh, not that.
yeah,
Okay.
to coming into Lesotho, for instance, is not a difficult. I mean, if you're coming in for business, as long as you can prove that you're coming in for business,
Mm,
your visas will be granted. And then as long as you can pay your visa fee, that's all. Then if you're coming
mm,
into South Africa, make sure you have critical skills because that's one of the things on demand right now, critical skills. So
mm,
if you're able to do that, they are going to give you their visas.
mm. Just that. Or just make sure you
That's
have the
all.
skill, the necessary skills, and
Yes.
not that
Because
you're coming to roam in their country.
exactly because they don't want anybody just running the streets, not doing anything to better their own economy because every government wants to make money, you know. So
Definitely.
yeah, yeah,
All
that's
right,
all.
Mr. Josh, it is Corner Chat with Babalogy. Kindly give us your parting words to our listeners before we call it a day.
Thanks once again for having me on your show. I really, really, really do
You're, wel-
appreciate it.
you're welcome,
And
man.
to the listeners out there, like I said initially when we started this show, please do business. It's one in a lifetime achievement. Do not miss it.
Mm,
God is going to ask you why. There's the parable of the reaper that Jesus shared in the Bible. He gave so many people money to go do business. Some of them hid it, and he was very furious with them, with that particular person that hid this one. So try to do business. It helps you develop yourself. It helps you upgrade your mindset, and it helps you discover who you are. That's what I'm going to say. So
mm.
thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Josh. All right, okay. Before I let you go, we may
Mm,
have some
mm,
people, maybe one or two that may want to get in touch with you, and maybe learn some more
mm,
about growing their businesses. Kindly share with us your social
mm,
media handles for as many that may want to get in touch.
mm. Yeah, they can just send me a message on Facebook, Prince
Okay,
Acho Joshua on Facebook. That's my
okay,
username, Prince
okay,
Acho Joshua.
okay,
I'm always you can always reach me there anytime. Prince
mm,
Acho Joshua.
okay. On
Mm.
Facebook, Prince Acho
Yes,
Joshua.
Joshua. Yes.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been Corner Chat with Babalogy, and it's been Mr. Joshua Acho on the show, a dynamic businessman, the director of Blue Whales Integrated Services Pty Limited, a one cybersecurity professional, and now a businessman. And
Thank you.
it's been an amazing time on the show. Mr. Josh,
Thank you so
thank you
much.
very much for
Thank you for
honoring our
having me.
invitation. Thank you. We
Thank you for
appreciate your
having me
presence, man.
also. I
And thank
hope
you
we
for the
can do
values
this
added
once
to lives
again.
today.
No
Very well.
problem.
Sometime next year, I'll definitely get in touch with you, man.
No problem. Thank you so
Okay.
much, and God
All
bless
right.
you.
Thank you for your time. Regards to the family, man.
No problem. Thank you so much.
All right. Peace.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye.